Welcome back. So in this lecture, I'll be taking the Blazor Connect 4 game part 2. And in this part, we'll be creating a Razor component for the game. And at the end of this lecture, we'll have a working game. Okay, so I will strongly recommend for those of you who have missed the first part on which we have started the game to please go and visit that part and come back to this part because these parts are entirely built upon the previous part. So, and please subscribe to my channel and share it. And if you are able to subscribe, then you'll get all the parts through the playlist or the cards, and this is not monetized. So at this end of this video um, we'll have applied the style classes to style the board and pieces and create a Razor component as UI for the SPA game, and we shall have a working game by the end of this lecture. And this is the Blazor Connect 4 game part 2, and this is the reference to the code author, who is Matthew Jones, and this code is available at this GitHub source repository, and the completed game is deployed at blazorgames.net. So now before we embark onto our coding and flip over to Visual Studio, I would like to show you the finished product. That will be at the end of this session today. We will be achieving a working game in progress. So it starts with redstone, and if you click on any of these empty spaces, it will be filled with red, and if you click on the empty space again on that column, it will be filled with the yellow. And going this way, the game will continue till this position come where all are in one straight line. On vertical line, 4 are connected together for the red, so the red player wins. Okay, that will be our objective today, and we'll achieve that. So please do go through the video till the end, and we will be having some exciting coding ahead. Let's get over to Visual Studio and start coding. So last time we have left it at this point. We have created a piece color, which was an enum of 3 colors, red, yellow, blank, and game piece, which was a game piece class, which has just one, um, it uses just one color property. Luckily for us, just to make it less complicated or simplified, and we had created a game board class. So in this lecture, we'll be first creating the Razor component, which I've already created, and this is the rudimentary. Uh, this is the just template of the connect4.razor, which I have created by right-clicking and add Razor component. So, and I've given it a connect4.razor. Okay, so now let's start coding the rest of this Razor part or this lecture. So at this point, it will be good to have an H1 tag and write the title on a header on a H14 heading, connect 4. Then let's write another heading, H2 header. So I'll explain in a bit. So this is at the rate, this is binding. Current turn will be declared soon. So this will hold the person who is having the current turn, okay? And then we'll have a div class. And before we'll code any further on this markup, we will just go for the code part and initialize a game board class. So game board So initialize an object of game board type and then another object of piece color. And that is what is our current turn. Piece color, what was piece color? This was an enum basically, and it held three colors: blank, red, and yellow. Blank for empty space, and red, yellow for each colored disks or buttons. Okay, piece color dot red. Okay. Now, after this, I'll have to do some styling so that we are able to write the further code, because some styling need to be applied specifically for creating the game board and piece, and um, putting all these nice frames and uh, these colored buttons. So for which I'll have to modify, I have to write below this app.css with the style sheet specifically developed for this game. Okay. The reason for this uh, change in the app.css to include the style sheet specifically for this game is because the game isn't going to look like anything if you don't put together some nice CSS for it. Okay, so let's start writing the CSS. Now just below this part at media, I'll start writing when the style sheet app.css, which was auto-generated when the project was first created, had ended. So I'll have to start writing. So if you'd like, you can follow me. So at board, so background color of the board will be blue. And we'll be able to see when it is rendered on the browser when I run the program, and it is finished by the end of this lecture. So please hang on to this lecture till the end and you'll really benefit, I hope. So display attribute is flex. Max width property is 490. By experimentation, we have learned that this is a optimum size for the maximum width for this board. So Control S, keep on saving your work. Okay, Control S, or you can even Control S and then dot column. So column style, column class. So dot means a class. Minimum width 60 pixel, minimum height again 60 pixel. And then height is 100%. Okay. So board and column, and then comes the game piece class. Remember, these classes are not part of the style sheet, which is auto-generated bootstrap class. So I'll have to write it. Margin is 5 pixel, and then again minimum height 60 pixel. Now this minimum height refers to the these height of the disk, or buttons, you can say. Minimum height 60 pixel, and it has a margin of 5 pixel. Okay, and then minimum width property also. it from here. And then border radius. Let's give it a border radius. (50 pixel). Now this border radius class is actually responsible for making a round shaped or round buttons or discs with these colors, okay? And then all that we are left with are red, yellow, and blank classes for which is basically going to create a background color with that color. So background color is red. Copy this over. Again copy, make it to blue, convert it to blue with the background color as, no, sorry, this is yellow. This is the color of the button. So yellow, and another is for blank space. Blank space will keep it as white, okay? You could make it a color of your choice like gray or brown or something like that, but white is the best I found. So at this point, save all. If you are unable to remember how many changes you have done in how many files of bitter, go for the save all and then also save. But if you have hit save all, then you don't need to probably hit save. Anyway, now coming back to the connect4.razor. Okay, we have created our classes. So now we are again ready to code further. So let's now start coding from where we left on this side. On the markup side, so current turns, this will get the value from here. This is C# code. So if it is red's turn, it will come up with red's turn and then yellow's turn. Okay, right. So now I'll have to use a div element with a class board class. We'll be using the board class. I'll create the board outer div within which there is an inner div. So now I will create a board with a for loop. So for tab at means this is C# code. Okay, so at for int I equals 0, I less than the column width, that is 7 I plus plus, and within the board class, this is the entire outer envelope, outer loop, which is creating the board with an inner loop which starts from here, and it has got a div class of column. Div class column, which we have just created. All right, so div and div, and within this div class column I'll have to initialize another for loop. So at for, now this time it will be j, local variable is j, and j less than how much? Can you guess? Yes, truly this is 6 rows. Okay, 7 column and 6 row, and j plus plus, and then I'll declare two local variables int x equals I. Just hang on, I'll explain everything why I'm creating these internal variables, although you still have I and j. But I and j, the only reason is that I and j are only valid till the loop is existing. Okay, these are local variable but created within the loop. So in order for their values to be persisted, they need to be assigned to another external variable. So which maintained its value after the loop, both the loops are exited. That's the reasons, just for persistence. Okay, and then below this, below this line of code, y equals j, I'll create a div class game piece. So I've used board class, column, and then game piece. Remember, game piece was actually the, it will create a background of red, yellow, or blank for empty space. So this will be at board. So this will be this value, new, the instance of the game board class at board dot. Okay, let's put the end if first, so that we'll be able to do without that squiggly line that was coming. So I comma j at board dot board I comma j, because remember this is the game board class. So if you go for the game board class, have a quick look, then go to the definition, and game board class was like this. It was initializing a game piece with this matrix 7 and 6. Okay, so this is game board class is nothing but it was initializing uh, an array, two-dimensional array of game piece. Okay, so back here, so at board dot board I comma j dot color dot to string to lower. This is the div class. Okay, and then there is a at on click. I'm calling the on click event, and this is within double quotes at the rate. I have to write a piece click method, which is not there, and it will be written eventually. So at piece clicked, and supplying these two arguments x, y. The squiggly line is because it is not there. This part is not there. Piece clicked x, y, and then closed bracket. Okay, and so cannot convert lambda expression to type because it is not a delegate type. Okay, this is, let us first, we'll resolve that when you have written this piece click method. Okay, there is just one mistake I found. This is game piece, it shouldn't end over here. This entire thing is actually the class. One class is game piece and another is this color dot to string dot to lower. Okay, so that's how this was actually objecting. Now if you look into, if you just get rid of this dot and then put a dot over here, you'll see that it exposes the properties of this class or this field, I mean this object. Okay, dot board, and then if you just put it left and then put another dot, then see this is the color, and then it is getting converted to string and that to lor. So this will give another, this will apply another class to the style, that is the color class. Okay, right. So this is converting it to string, and then it is converting it to the lowercase. Right. Or the only missing piece is that piece clicked has to be written. So this part of this class is basically, it is finding out the color and putting it to the string and making it to the lowercase, which is basically applying this class, this dot red, yellow, and blank. So this is determining on the fly dynamically. So which other class has to be applied besides the game piece class? So they could be either red or yellow or blank depending upon the color of the piece. All right. So hopefully you have understood this far. Now let's go to the next. So let's now go to the code. So for the time being, our the top part, the markup part for this Razor file, which is just like a CSHTML file. If you are already aware of familiar with CSHTML, this .razor file is very similar to the CSHTML file for the ASP.NET Core MVC or the Razor application rather. All right, so let's complete this piece click method. So I'm sorry, this is capital, this is small c, and then capital C, piece clicked. All right, and then just supply these parameters int x and y, int x, int y. And what will be within this code. Now here, let's initialize a game piece class because that is our starting point. Game piece. I just prefer to name it clicked space as per the convention used by the author, board.board xy. Right. So what is this game piece? Game piece is this class which is actually initializing a game piece or unit of game, okay, which has got um, uh, in the default constructor, if you don't supply a color, then it will be forming a blank color or empty space, and if it is a color is supplied, it will, the color property will assume that color, supplied color. Okay, if it is called with the particular color, piece color. So back to connect for the razor, and then next what my objective will be is that, we have seen, like if you look into this slideshow again. Now this is a connect for game again. So in the top, uh, this vertical channel, there is a slit against all of these columns. And if you slide a coin, slide a button or coin or disk of yellow or red color, if the entire column is empty, then it will go drop right up to the bottom. Okay, so it will just slide down to the bottom because of gravity. So that's what we need to simulate in our game. That's the next aim. So in order to achieve the fall of the piece to the lowest unoccupied space in the clicked colored button is, let's write, and then I will explain again. If clicked space dot color not equals, it's silly sometimes, intelligence comes into our way of productivity. So if clicked space dot color, if the color of the button is blank, that is piece color dot blank. Okay, if there is a blank space, basically, that means if you are clicking a blank space, all right, if you're clicking a blank space like this, back to the actual game. So if you're clicking here or here, which are blank space, then what happens is that is what I am going to write. So let's keep writing while y is less than 5. Y is less than 5. Game piece. Please bear with me. I will explain everything in a bit. Board dot board x comma y plus 1. Now, in order to understand this, you'll have to visualize or imagine or just see the um, game board again. Okay. So this game board, imagine this is a x and y coordinates. So x coordinate this way horizontally, and this is the y coordinate column. X coordinate is representing one row. So if y is less than 5 means, so here are 6 rows. So if there is a row empty, okay, then what will happen? You'll be able to slid it. So if y is less than 5 means y can take value from 0 to, if it is 0, you can take up to 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or let's see, if you are thinking that it should start with the value 1, so it should be, the empty spaces will be represented only if there is at least one empty space on the top. If it is filled up to this, up to 5, and if we are starting from the 0 index, then it will be actually filling till the top. Okay, it is filling till the top because 6 rows will be represented from either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But if it is less than 5, then we have got a zero based index. We are talking about a zero based index. So basically this is the um, zeroth row, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So it has to be less than 5, this condition. That means there is an empty space at the top. Okay, so if there is an empty space at the top, then what happens? As the code that we have already written, it is starting from 0 and looking to up less than 7 for the these columns, and looking for less than 6 for rows. So y represents j actually. So if y is less than 5, then this happens that next piece will be the y plus 1, board dot board. X will be the same, x coordinate doesn't change, but y coordinate will be changed. Y becomes y plus 1. Okay, because we are going to slid it from the top, right? And after that, y is incremented. So either you can write y plus plus or y equals y plus 1. So let's write y plus plus. Now now we have created a next space here. So if next space dot color. If the next space is just vacant or empty space, so piece color dot blank. Okay. So you will expect this clicked space equals next space, right? So unless the next space is vacant, you cannot drop it into that space. So you can drop from the top only if there is a vacant space. So if the next space, the color is the blank space, if the next space is a blank space, then click space occupies that blank space. That is basically it. Okay. So that's all. And then click space, the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle is click space dot color. It assumes the color of the current turn, the turn whosoever's turn is currently there. Okay, and then finally it will switch turns. So I will switch turn. The players will switch turn. Which will be a method which is yet to be written. That's why this squiggly color. So switch turns. Now switch turns. What is a switch turns? It's very easy, very simplified actually. Method private. I'll just be with you after I have written down a bit of a code, which is just a couple of lines. Switch turns. Switching the turns between player A and player B, or red and yellow. Okay. Right. So this will be basically, if the current turn is a red turn, it will be toggle to yellow, else it will be red. Okay, that's it. A few lines only. If current turn equals piece color dot red, current turn is what? That is also connect for dot current turn field. That field is red. If it is red, make it yellow, and otherwise keep it red. Here it is assignment. Okay. So in the if statement, this is a decision statement. It has to be equality. So here it is assignment. It's just a left hand side is assigned the value of the right hand side. Assignment statement. So else what? Piece color dot red. And that's basically it. We have now a functional game minus some modifications to declare who is the winner, and after the winner is declared, the game is reset and the winner is flagged. Okay. So now before finally running and showing you the game, now let's do a bit of a cleanup. Now I have earlier removed the fetch, data and counter reserve pages, and let's remove the corresponding links also, and then copy this home link, navigation link. So copy and create the navigation link for the counter, this connect for. So what I will do is I will refer this to let's get, so this is connect for, copy, go back to here and then paste it paste it here, connect 4. All right, and write connect 4 here. Right, and then run this application. Yep, so application is loaded with the connect 4 link on the left hand side. Click on this and connect 4. This is the redstone. Click on anywhere and then yellow and then red, again yellow and then red, again yellow, again red. So you can see that red has won. So this will be further improved to show who is the winner and reset the game with the reset button here so that the game is reset and it can be started afresh again with the redstone first. That will be shown in the next lecture. So stay tuned and thanks for joining me.